You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. And now, it's time for the show that breaks down the options market from unusual activity alerts to market analysis, strategy overviews, listener questions, and much more. If it involves puts and calls, then our all-star panel will break it down. It's time to hit the Option Block with your host, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Media Group, and co-hosts, Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, along with Mark the Greasy Meatball Sebastian and Andrew the Rock Lobster Giovinazzi from OptionPit.com. And now, get ready to hit the Option Block.
All right, everybody, that music means it is kickoff time here on the network for the week. We're back. We're ready, we're raring to go with another week full of awesome, if we do say so ourselves, options content here on the network. Yet another reason why, if you're not subscribed to the full network, wherever you're getting your favorite podcast, man, you are missing out. Just a smorgasbord of options content coming at you. Usually 3 shows a day these days. Got 3 coming at you today. Got the crypto rundown coming up after this. We'll be joined by our good buddy, Mr. Greg Magadini, to go deep into all the vol and the skew of Uncle Mike's favorite thing known as crypto. Then, of course, we'll top off the day, the cherry on our delicious options Sunday with a little bit of Thor, the hot options report. So 3 shows coming at you a day, if not more. So wherever you're listening, make sure you're subscribed to the full network. And, of course, when you're ready to push that button, when you want to get exclusives, you want to get early access, you want to get live streams, you want to be able to mock our hosts live, all sorts of fun, and of course, win fabulous prizes. TheOptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go to learn more. As we see who's joining us on the old Monday program, I'm pleased to welcome back the uncleest of Mikes, Mr. Uncle Mike Tosaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, as well as the rockingest of lobsters, Mr. Andrew Giovinazzi, who already is clad head to toe in the main uniform of plaid. Yes, he's living the dream. All right, I introduce them both now because it is time, listeners, to kick off our broadcast week with a little bit of fun we call around these parts the 80s Trivia Challenge. Here we go. Ah, the soothing tones of an unnamed, unlicensed trivia theme song. All right, gentlemen, get your hands on your buzzers. For this purposes of this question, I will only accept chat submissions. So whoever is the first one in the chat. All right, here we go. Uncle Mike Tosaw, the choice is yours. Are you going orange again, or are you gonna mix it up a little bit?
You know what? I'm going to go with entertainment today because this thing that I got named as the crypto lover for our fantasy football league, so it's messing with my head. I'm going to go with entertainment.
Wow. Going pink. Uncle Mike, a little pinky Tuscadero. All right, let's see. Let's see what that's got for you today. All right, here we go. Pink. What's the more familiar name of the Banana Boat song? I knew this one.
Familiar name for the Banana Boat song?
Yes. Oh, Uncle Mike buzzing in. There you go, sir.
Tallyman?
Oh. Oh. Not correct, but you are on the right track, sir. I know.
I'm Mr. Tallyman, tally me bananas.
Don't do the rest of it. He's still got to guess. All right, Mr. Rock Lobster, can you steal? Can Circle get the square for for a full point?
Oh gosh, daylight coming. Do you want to go home? I'm trying to. I can't think of it.
It's Deo.
Damn.
I was thinking about doing that one.
The second I read this question, I was like, "Do they mean Deo?" And it was. So that's funny.
I could say that's the only word I didn't say in the song was Deo.
All right.
So Deo.
All right, for half a point, Mr. Rock Lobster, pick another category on the card.
Let's do geography.
All right, geography. What U.S. city is the queen of the Pacific?
Spokane.
Oh. He didn't buzz, but it's okay. But it is not correct. No.
Oh.
Mr. Uncle Mike, can you steal?
I'll go with Seattle because Spokane is more inland than Seattle.
Yeah, I was going to say, Spokane's pretty far from the Pacific.
Yeah. Whatever.
That'd be hilarious if they did call Spokane the queen of the Pacific.
I don't know. Is it really inland? I thought it was on the coast.
Spokane, the queen of Pacific. Oh, I don't know, a couple hours away from this coast. No, I was thinking somewhere along those lines as well, Seattle, Uncle Mike. But no, it is San Francisco. I don't think I've ever heard it called that before.
No, I haven't either. You know what? You think queen of the? Yeah, that's a weird one.
I can think of many cities around the globe I would call the queen of the Pacific before San Francisco. But there we go.
Here.
And all of them would come before Spokane.
Ryan Sandberg's hometown. Not many people know that.
I did not.
That's where Ryan Sandberg grew up.
That was a poor. That was not a great showing. I kind of have a flu, so I guess.
Oh, there we go. Oh, producer, I neglected to add the 80s trivia challenge block. Can you put that in the notes, please, and mark down with an exclamation point? No points for anyone. They're all losers as we keep on rolling right on into the trading block.
It's time to break down the latest topics, trades, and trends in the world of options. It's time for the Trading Block.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Trading Block, the portion of the show where we do just that. We break down what the heck is trading. Did you guess either of those, listeners? Did you know the queen of the Pacific, San Francisco? I got to admit, it was probably called that once in a magazine in like 1930. And I don't think it's ever really been called that since, but probably ahead of Spokane. Good stuff. That's why we play the 8. It kind of shakes off the cobwebs from the weekend, gets us up, gets us ready and raring to go. Have a little bit of fun to start our broadcast week. Are the markets having fun out there today, listeners? Kind of a mixed day. If you're hanging out in the Dow, you've been kind of struggling to put a smile on your face. You've been mostly red. You're a little less red than you were earlier, but you're still off a little over 0.05% on the day out there. See, I'm shaking off the cobwebs from the weekend as well, listeners. S&P up about 0.15%, and the NASDAQ up about 0.5%. And our old pal VIX Cash hanging out right around 15 quarter. Was 15.35 when we kicked off the show, down about 0.4 of a point. Now it's back down about 15 and a quarter, which puts it down about 0.5 point from where it was this time last Thursday. And our old pal VIX hanging out at about a 93, down 3 points from our last dalliance with the Flowmaster last Thursday. All right, nobody got it right this time, so I guess we'll go for the Rock Lobster first, because why not? Mr. Rock Lobster, do you have any enduring memories of the Queen of the Pacific, a.k.a. San Francisco, or your beloved Spokane? And then B, what is catching your eye out there in the markets today, sir?
You know, it's weird because I lived in San Francisco off and on for 15 years, and I never remember being called the Queen of the Pacific. Even Herb Cain, who wrote for the Chronicle for like 50 years. I remember Baghdad by the Bay. I would have called that one in a second, but
I'd love to know the origins of that little card there.
Yeah, I mean, Los Angeles was nothing until probably the 40s. You know, after World War II, LA became... San Francisco was the big port for a long time, but I never heard Queen of the Pacific. And, of course, Spokane I know nothing about because I've never been to the state of Washington.
Clearly, I'm looking at the map right now. Yes, just to send it to you. And yes, it is many hours from the coast, let's just say.
Yes. It's a long walk. Let's put it that way. I didn't even know Deo was the name of it, and it was a banana boat. I guess I just have, I had no idea about that whole thing. So I think Tosaw should stay with entertainment. I think that gave him, he was close on the entertainment.
By the way, the sports and leisure would have been hard today too. It was something like, why are wine glasses put where they are on the table or something like that. So it would have been outside the realm of sports.
Very interesting. Well, because people are mostly right-handed. That's what I would guess. But anyway.
The answer, weirdly enough, was also Deo. It's strange.
As far as the market goes, we've had some interesting job numbers, and I've seen those parsed last week. Not as strong as we wanted. It could be partly immigration flows. Many factors going in. The government's not hiring this year, apparently. In some places, other places they are. But we have a PPI number and a CPI number this week. And every time we have a whiff of inflation news, the market sells off. And every time we have a whiff of the Fed's going to cut, the market rallies. And I would just point your attention to the bond market is generally the smarter people. Okay. That is, I would say, just the bond market is big, right? And right now TLT is rallying. It has rallied for a week. It is back to levels we haven't seen since the 10th of April. So everybody thought the tariffs were going to be inflationary. I don't think, at least it appears right now, certainly not the way everybody had feared. And on the flip side, you have continued AI growth in news. I don't know, like Mark, you remember our Tosaw, you're probably playing football, but in the 90s, nobody could believe what the internet thing was going to do, right? Remember, we're like, and all these stocks are, people are buying internet stocks.
Who cares? It's just .com. What does it do? Who cares? It's .com.
It's .com. That's all you had to say.
So many people said that to me on the floor of the SIBO. It was stunning in hindsight.
Yeah, and what's funny is it all ended up being somewhat true, except a lot of the stocks that went public didn't make it.
Except pets.com.
Yeah, pets.com did not make it, although it got reincarnated as Chewy.
Yeah, you're right.
And Chewy is, and that's a stock I own. It's doing okay. Like in Maine, though, you can't walk down a block without seeing a Chewy box on somebody's front porch. Maine is very pet. They like their pets in Maine. Got a lot of outdoor space, but Amazon, changed retail. Microsoft refashioned themselves as a cloud. The whole cloud thing. Without the internet, there's no cloud, right? And so a lot of things change in ways we could not even conceive. Job growth, social media, again, like technology. Just again, another thing I'm looking at. QuantumScape. I guess they're running a Ducati motorcycle in Dubai on their solid state battery, which could change the EV thing, I think, quite a bit. Could be bullish for Tesla, could be bullish for lithium. Again, these are all and that's why stocks go up in the US, mostly because there is a lot of entrepreneurial technological change that happens daily. On the flip side, you got the government, which tries to, manage, redistribute, whatever. And governments rarely have gotten it very right. For the most part, the U.S. has stayed out of the way. But I think the last 20 years, since, 9/11 maybe, the U.S. has gotten much more involved in the economy. You could say, I don't know if it's necessarily good. I don't think it is. But that's what we got. So anyway, we are stuck with waiting for the Fed to opine on rates. I went almost 2 decades on the floor with never caring if the Fed was going to say anything about rates or not, because it was always a foregone conclusion. Oh, we have a little growth, rates go up. Oh, we're not growing as much, rates go down. And since then, I think it's been becoming this sort of micromanagement tool that I don't think that was never really the Fed's mandate. It was to create a giant balance sheet for no reason. But that's what we have. And as of right now, stocks are at near all-time highs. Bond values are starting to rally a little bit. And I'll leave the gold and silver to Tosaw, because I know he follows the shiny stuff, but silver's at a level we haven't seen since the Hunt brother days, which is when I was like in grade school. So it is an interesting mix all aboard, but I guess we're waiting for some inflation news this week.
All right, Mr. Uncle Mike, a.k.a. the Hunt brother Jr., Mr. Uncle Mike, sir. First off, how was your first weekend in the Options Insider Fantasy League? How are your crypto lovers? How are they doing? And then B, what's catching your eye out there in the markets today, sir?
I haven't had a chance to check that yet, but I'm guessing that Andrew forgot about the run that silver had in 2011, because if he was in grade school at that time, then gosh, you're really impressive with what you've accomplished in life at age 26 or whatever you're at, Andrew. Because we actually did have a little bit of a run in silver in 2011. So I think the last time we were at these levels, from what I'm seeing, 2011, we did have a little bit of a run there. It didn't stay there very long, but we did have a little bit of a run there at that point in time. But with the Hunt brothers, not a lot of people know this, but the Hunt family actually owns the Kansas City Chiefs. So maybe they're trying to funnel money to Patrick Mahomes through their silver winnings from back in the early 80s or whatever that was. So nonetheless,
that's what it's all about. They're trying to corner the market on precious metals and Super Bowl rings. So there you go. It's an elaborate ploy.
Yeah, they beat out the Patriots now at this point. So maybe Art Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, is going to start investing in crypto, and maybe he'll try and corner the crypto market somehow.
What's that Lombardi made out of? Is it Lombardi solid silver? Is there a conspiracy? I think so.
Oh, that's a good topic for the show. So anyway, but yeah, in terms of the markets right now, we did have all-time highs on Friday. They didn't stay all-time highs for very long. I think that with everything happening, S&P above 6,500. Markets are a little bit long in the tooth right now. And at some stage, we will get a pullback. But in the meantime, I'm not going to complain. If there's plenty worse phone calls to make to clients than, hey, I'm sorry, these protective puts really aren't helping you that much right now. But I'd much rather be making that phone call as opposed to the thank God we have these protective puts in place. Don't get me wrong, both phone calls are a good thing to some extent, but this phone call is a lot more pleasant. So we do have that happening. Bonds do continue to stay strong. So it does appear that we are going to eventually have rates go down. A lot of the talk is that once Powell is out next year, then Trump will get the Fed president in that he wants to get in, and he'll lower rates to being the low interest rate kind of guy with which he claims to be. And I'm guessing maybe in the interview process, are you going to lower rates a lot? Yes. Okay, great. You're hired. Maybe that's his main job qualification for who he wants to appoint as the next Fed chair. But nonetheless, we are where we are with rates, and we are still at points right now within the rate world to where investing in the 1 to 3 month really isn't that much different from a rate standpoint than investing in the 10-year. In fact, we are still technically ahead in the 1 month level, with the 1 month being at 4.29, the 10-year being at 4.1, the 3 months at 4.07, 10-year at 4.1. So a little bit more benefit in the 10-year, but purely from a yield standpoint, you are better off investing in the short term. Of course, the disadvantage to doing that is that if rates increase, then you're not going to have that rate for very long. if rates decrease, you won't have that rate for very long. Whereas in the 10-year, you'll at least be able to lock in that rate for a longer period of time. So that's kind of the give and take of determining where you want to fall on the yield curve for your investments. But right now, with rates as high as they are in the near term, if you have ways that you may want to hedge long-term rates going down or whatever the case may be, there's ways with which to do that, of course. But you're not really getting a lot more going further out. 30-year is at 4.78%. So you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck there. But all around, we do still have a lot of juice in the very near term. In terms of the market today, not really getting a lot of movement. S&P is up 15 on the day, so 0.2%, not a lot happening. And then with the shiny stuff, silver is at levels that it has not been at since 2011. Gold, of course, still seems like it's making new all-time highs very frequently, but the last all-time high we had, we actually did get a new all-time high in GLD today. So we are getting some excitement in the shiny stuff, and so could that be an indication of inflation coming on? Who knows? Because gold and silver don't seem to follow the inflation rules with which they once did, but they might start again. So we'll see where we're at with it. We have a lot happening, but for now, I would say that all-time highs in the S&P are the big news in the market, and seeing how they react to the levels with which they made all-time highs last week.
Let's see what's cooking in the rest of this market, shall we, listeners? Let's get out to the land of vol first. And if you just looked at VIX and naught else, you would think today was kind of a bit of a sleepy day. 319,000 contracts on the tape. Now, it's not bad. The ADV has gotten back up over 800K, largely on the back of that banger day last Friday. Over 1.5 million contracts going up in VIX on Friday. Not quite getting there today unless the second half of the session is a doozy. But the ADV is back up to 860. So 319, not even halfway to that yet. Kind of a sleepy day out there. The hot option, such as it is out there in VIX land today, it's the SEP 17 puts. Changing hands 18,000 times right now. The average price, $1.31, 17 put, a little bit meatier than we typically talk about out there, but nonetheless, that's your big dog. Number two, 17,000 of the SEP 40s. Those are going up for a nickel, if you're wondering. Let's do all five. Why not? Number three, about 16,000 of the SEP 60s for a little over a penny. Number four, 15,000 of the OC 80s, 8 O's. 13 cents for those bad boys. And rounding out your top five in a pretty meager VIX day, 11, almost 12,000 of the SEP 21s. Those going up for 32 cents. Listeners, out to SPY, putting up more impressive numbers. 4.75 million, so already well past halfway to its ADV, which is a tick shy of 8 million contracts. So interesting bit of a dichotomy between VIX and SPY today. The S also looking similarly robust, about 2.3 million contracts on the tape right now. So nothing to sneeze at out there in the S as well. Also more than halfway to its ADV, which is about 3.9 million contracts right now. Small caps, again, kind of looking light, which is interesting. 580,000 contracts on the tape. The ADV about 1.4 million, so still a pretty far away from halfway to its ADV. And then the Qs lighting it up again, nearly 2.7 million contracts on the tape already for the Qs. The ADV about 4.2, so well north of halfway to its ADV as well. So interesting split day, kind of reflecting the weird day we're seeing out there in the broad indices. Is it a weird day out there in the single names? The answer is it's decent. Just a tick over 300,000 is what it cost you to break into the top 10 today. So, 250 is kind of our baseline for just a decently somewhat active day. So we're 50K more than that, not even at 350, which north of 350 is pretty respectable. Up to 450. We were at 465 not too long ago. 450, so that's a banger. Not quite there, obviously, today, but better than 250. 304, that gets us to our old pal Alphabet Class A. Selling off a little bit today, hanging out 234 even, off about 80 cents or about 1/3%. Again, good for 304,000 contracts. And the number 10 spot, number 9. Where is ABGO going? It's going to 425,000 contracts right now, up $11 exactly. Hanging out at 346, up about 3% on the day. Good for the number 9 spot, AVGO. Got to get on out of here to number 8. It's Palantir, 157 and a third, up 4 and a quarter, about 2 3/4%. So a good day for them. Not really a day. Well, they did sell off a little bit, 155 and a half. So Palantir's had this weird pattern of late where they sell off hard in the morning and then they rally hard in the second half of the session. So it sold off a little bit today, but not quite as, let's say, reliable today as it has been in last sessions. Palantir, number 8, 431, trading 157.30 right now. Number 7, out to AMD we go. AMD, 150 and 2/3, off about half a buck, or about 1/3%. Good for number 7, 449,000 contracts. And the number 7 spot, number 6, keeping it in A-Tech. It's the Amazonians, 236.12, up about 380 or about 1.6% today. Again, good for number 6, 471,000 contracts on the tape. Keeping it in A, we got the rare A-Tech trifecta again. Haven't seen that in a little while. It's the fruit company, number 5, selling off $3 exactly. Hanging out at, well, just ticked. My ticker's all over the place right now. It was off exactly $3. Hanging out now down about $2, a little bit shy of 238, about 237.80. That's about 0.75%. And good for number 5, 492,000 contracts. It's been a wild run in Apple here ever since they made that little trip to Washington, then all of a sudden just rallied hard away from the par strike they seemed like they were glued at. Right now, obviously, selling those DSPARs for $18 seems like a good do in hindsight. Number 5, the fruit company, 492,000 contracts on the tape. For Apple, number 4, good old Hood. You know, we heard rumors about this a while ago. Didn't really materialize. Now it's here. It's Robinhood sneaking their way into the S&P 500, looking good on the stock, up about 14.25 or about 14%, hanging out right around 115 today. Good for number 4, nearly 1 million contracts on the tape, 929,000 contracts. Go figure. Getting added to the S&P, a good thing for the stock. Let's go to number 3. Can you guess what number 3 is? It's been hanging out this number 3 spot for a while. Spoiler alert, it's a banger. Yeah, it's open. Hanging out today. What's it doing today? Is it off $5? Is it up $5? Is it unched? All of those answers could be possible in open. Today, it's off about 30 cents or about 4.5%. Trading right around 635, 636 today. So a comparatively quiet day. That said, they did get as high as 732. So they're nearly $1 off their highs. So they've already been up to some business. Up to some skullduggery out here before the show. Again, already 1 million contracts on the tape. 1.05 million. Let's just take a quick gander, shall we, listeners? You know it's going to be upside calls. It's probably going to be 7s. If past is prologue, let's go see. Oh, no. 3 puts. Dominating the tape today. 35,000 of those bad boys. Oh, no, looks like maybe it's a 4-3-2 put fly. But the numbers are bonkers. 35,000 of the 3 puts, 20,000 of the 2 puts, and then only 14 of the 4 puts, then only 14,000 of the 2 puts. There must be another leg there somewhere. Another bit of 2 puts. Otherwise, they're doing a very funky fly. But 4-3-2 put fly? Symmetrical fly and open. Good luck hitting that bullseye, but interesting stuff. That's accounting for about 90,000 of those contracts already, just in that one spread. So, yeah, open. Number 3, 1.05 million customers. That's interesting. If you could, our first call on our list is actually the Jan 5s. Okay, here's a fun one. A little bit of a Viceroy guessing game here. Would you pay $3.20 for the Jan 5 calls and open? Someone did this morning 5,000 times. Now, bear this in mind. The stock was at $7 exactly. So maybe that plays into a little bit. So you got $2 worth of meat on the bone. That said, $3.20. You can have the forever call for, right now you can get it for pretty much almost exactly double that. So I don't know. Interesting stuff out there. Do you want to own the forever call and open? Is all this just madness, listeners? All those answers are acceptable. So keep on rolling to number 2. Yeah, Tesla having some bad news today. Their worst market share in 8 years, something like that. Dragging on the stock, which is interesting because lately it doesn't seem like the stock has moved at all in relation to what's going on in their core business. It's been many other things, usually more buyers and sellers or vice versa, that's been driving this thing. But bad news in the core business seems to actually be weighing on the stock today, off about $4, a little over 1%, trading 346 3/4 out there. It has been surprising to me. They persistently shown they have a hard time moving cars lately. and yet the stock has done naught but rally. Kind of interesting, but today selling off a little bit. Either way, number 2, 1.25 million. I guess you got to really be a believer in the robo-taxis or all the other various things that he keeps throwing out there to distract from the fact that they can't sell cars. But hey, we'll see. Number 1. By the way, Tesla 1.22 million. Don't come at me, all you Tesla bulls. I'm just having fun. Number 1, it's Nvidia, 170 exactly. Up $3 exactly today, or about 1.8%. So interesting day for Nvidia. Got as low as 167 1/3, so it kind of shot out of a cannon right out of the open today. It was looking pretty light, and kind of gaining it all back. 1.44 million contracts already on the tape in Nvidia. By the way, if you like that rundown, we do a nice condensed version of that every day on the Hot Options Report. Make sure you're checking that out. Brought to you by our friends over there at Public. Looking really quickly across the broad spectrum, we're kind of coming to the tail end of earnings season when we got Oracle popping off. Oracle, and then our old pal, Helen of Troy. Those are usually the two that signal the end of the earnings season. You have Oracle coming up on Tuesday. Adobe, unless you're really excited about Adobe, they're popping off on Thursday. Chewy, Rocklops's beloved Chewy, popping off before the bell on Wednesday, listeners. So there are still a few names to keep an eye on. But, GameStop after the bell on Tuesday as well, if you're still into the progenitor of the meme madness out there. But let's keep on rolling right now. Let's see, how is our season looking? Our season is looking, listeners, up just a absolutely absurd 129% right now. That is unsustainable, don't even ask me. But the long-term average is 119%, so not that far away from it. That's why when you hear people like me, or even you and Sinclair on Vol Views not too long ago, or Russell, or everybody's just telling you these days, if you're leaning or looking for a way to lean going into earnings on a vol stock, lean long. Because this is the most outperformance we've ever seen, and we've been crunching these numbers for a long time. So kind of wild stuff. Is it wild stuff in the land of odd stuff? I guess we'll find out, because it's time for the Odd Block.
It's time to break down the most interesting, unusual, and downright questionable options activity that's been identified by theoptionsinsider.com. It's time for the Odd Block.
All right, everybody, let's get weird. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy. Let's kick it off with a newcomer. Why not? It's always fun to have some newcomers on the show. Let's go along with Golar LNG Limited. Yeah, LNG, as you can tell by the name, it's a liquefied natural gas name. Ticker symbol GOLONG, or GLNG. Hanging out right now. $41, pretty much even, off about 3.25, or about 7.25%. So a bit of a rough day for GoLong. Do you want to go long some LNG, listeners? I guess we'll find out. On the year, let's see. You guys have been listening to Twifo and other shows. You kind of know what's been going on with the dance that is nat gas these days. Let's see. A year ago was $31, so it's up pretty much exactly $10, or about 32%. So good year for go long. You wanted to go long. That said, it has topped out a few times at higher levels. Hit 44 in December of last year before falling out of bed twice. Got to $31 on March 10th. Then they rallied it March 24th up to about 41 again, and then right back down, guess when? April 7th, April 8th, got to about $30 again. Then they rallied it again, May 1st, about $42.50. So it has been north of where it is multiple times. And then since then, it's kind of been vacillating in this 37 to 42 range ever since, hanging out at like 40 to $42 for better part of the last few months. Then shooting up again back in August 25th, hit 44.25, actually hit 45.5 the next day, August 26th, and then coming right back down here. So it's been a topsy-turvy year. Still good to go long this past year. You've had a good run, up about a third, but obviously you were $4.50 higher just about a week ago out there in go long. So a wild time. Let's see what our Eye of Sauron spotted out there today. Looks like somebody wants to go long. Somebody came in this morning, said October 41s. These are the at the money strike. So interesting. they got a respectable market, $2.50 at $3. Not terrible, all things considered. The stock was much higher, 42.40 when this went up. So that could maybe explain some of this. And looks like they came in and said, I will trade 8,029 for $2.80. Worth noting, there are no earnings. Earnings are on November 11th. So this is just a straight up at the money call, roll of the dice. Given what the stock has done, you probably hope that they sold these, but it looks like they may have probably bought them. We'll see. Maybe the Rock Lobster disagrees. Mr. Rock Lobster, sir, OC41s in Go Long for $2.80. Stock about $1.50 higher. Well, what say you, sir?
You know, I just saw these. I own this stock. Just excuse me. Some kind of flu going. I got. I don't know where I get it. I never go anywhere. You know, I think somebody's coming in here. I was just trying to look at the time and sales on this one. I think they bought these. There's 10,955 on the day. I had to dig in a little bit more on this one because I wasn't quite sure my sense would be they're buying the dip on this company, but I could be totally wrong on that one. But I feel like it should be like a buy the dip type of trade. But they just didn't, the pricing didn't work out for them very well because right now they're trading $1 less.
Yeah, that's an ouchie.
You know, and if they got $2.80 off up there, that would be a great price relative. So, I think they're buying them, and then I'm just looking at here. It looks like there's been buying paper the whole way down. So, I think Sims just took the opportunity with the stock a little lower to buy some calls. And like you said, the stock's been as high as $45. I've owned it for a little while, just as, you know, I try to own a little bit of LNG, natural gas type stuff. And, you know, when prices spike, you sell it. And then you wait till they go down again and you buy it back. Yeah, I think this is an ouchie for whoever purchased these. It does feel kind of like a purchase relative to where that chunk went up at the time.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive to get run over for $1.
And then it was like right on the open. I think they thought, oh wow, we're getting a scoop here, and then they just got steamrolled. So the SIBO Henry indicator saying bullish in live vol on this trade. So I'm gonna go with them. It just didn't it didn't look so good at the time.
You know what does look good, though? And might be, I'm stunned I have not come across this name before. This ticker alone is worth the price of admission here on the show. Tosaw, his ears are going to perk up. He's going to love this one. This is right up his alley, especially given the name of his fantasy football team this season. This is my new favorite, ETHZilla Corp. Ticker symbol ETHZ, ETHZ. Yes, ETHZilla. It does exactly what you think it does with a name like ETHZilla. First off, I don't know, that might have to replace Wolfspeed as the most apt, just absurd name for a company I've ever seen. ETHZilla. It sounds like it was named by a 5-year-old who likes crypto. But that said, ETHZilla trading $2.41, up about a dime. Yeah, they buy a bunch of ETH. Go figure, listeners. They hold over 102,000 ETH right now, valued at $443 million. So they're looking pretty good right now. ETH's been on a hell of a run over the last few months. They secured $80 million recently for a stock buyback. But I mean, ETHZilla. Would you put your money behind a company called ETHZilla? Looks like a year ago, the stock was trading $1.88. So they're up $0.50, about 28%, but maybe not as much as you might think over the past year. They shot up the first time in October of last year, before the election, weirdly enough, up to $6.50. And then they shot right back down In fact, back before this big move in ETH back in the midsummer, July, when ETH was looking like the dumpster fire that it is, off 44%, I could imagine a company with a name like ETHZilla was looking pretty bad, and they were. They got down to 66 cents. So you could have bought the forever call in ETHZilla for 66 cents. Since then, ETH's been on a run, and so have they. They shot up to about $3 on August 8th. Already a nice little run, almost 5x. And then they just skyrocketed August 13th. So with the next week, they shot up to, it says here the 52-week high is $17.75. They must have hit that intraday. They closed a little bit shy of $11. But this thing is, I think the technical term is bonkers. Then the next day it was $7 and it was back down to $3 again on August 20th or so. But ETHZilla, so far this chart looks like something called ETHZilla. So you know, listeners. Nobody's buying puts on this thing. You're here to buy calls. That's what a name like ETHZilla is all about. It's the definition of YOLO. And let's see what we got out here. Yeah, it's the ETHZ, ETHZilla. OC3s. Somebody came in this morning and said, OC3s, how are they? Stock was, $2.50, so a little bit higher. Not quite the ouchie we saw on the other one, but still a little bit higher. And they said, OC3s, how are they? They got a dime at a quarter, which, all things considered, not the worst market for this name. It is still a 138 volatility, though. They say, you know what, good sir, I will pay a quarter, 5,000 times. And then they came back to do about 3,000 more. And then by the end, they were bid out about an hour later. They were 25 cents at 30. They said, I'll pay 30 cents. And they did a total, I think, at the time of, I think it was over 10,000 on these bad boys. Let's look really quickly how many have gone up on the day. Yeah, it was 12, almost 13,000 of these OC3s had traded on the day. Also worth noting, 9,000 now of the March 3s have traded. Those have an average price of about 47 cents. So, my goodness. First off, Uncle Mike, I just have to know, how much do you love the name ETHZilla, sir? And as I've been talking about it, how much stock did you run out and buy?
I'm sorry, I just got a margin call on all the ETHZilla that I bought.
No, how can you not? All in on ETHZilla. You hear a name like that, how can you not mortgage the house, right, sir?
I mean, it's insanity. That wins the name of the day award for me.
You might have to change the name of your crypto lovers to ETHZilla. Uncle Mike's ETHZillas. What do you think?
I mean, who would... that would strike fear into the rest of the league.
Yes.
Uncle Mike's... Yeah, please do that. Uncle Mike's ETHZillas. I could get behind that.
This is a handle of the year candidate out here. I just love everything about it. Mr. Rock Lobster, what are your thoughts on our beloved ETHZilla and the fact that somebody's loading up on the threes for size, sir?
Well, it does make me remember when we just said anything with a .com. It's a .com. Anything that has ETH, Bitcoin, and is you gotta love it. Now buying the October 25 3 calls for a quarter, I think anything in this realm, who knows? It's sort of like, throwing your money on whatever, black or red or anything like that. So I don't think the calls are a bad purchase. In here, you have some time. Ethereum could be up 20%. And, even if it's up 20%, I think these calls might be a stretch. I think I'd rather have the 2.5s for 35 cents or 40 cents, or the spread for 10 cents, the 2.5, 3. But hope springs eternal on these calls. So, but somebody's buying them. Although I think the Viceroy would not, if we invoke him. God rest his soul. He would not be too happy buying 25-cent calls in a $2.40 stock.
No, he would not. I don't know. At this point, I don't know how we could top ETHZilla. That's the best ticker.
But it is the best name we've come across.
It's the best ticker I've ever seen. Yeah. Can you imagine
nothing,
these people
comes close.
These people are going out, they're raising funds from, investors, getting stock repurchase and all these other things. Like, what's the name of your company? Oh yeah, ETHZilla.
They're like, done.
You're done. You knock on the door of the VC. Would you like to invest? What's your name? Your company? Oh, ETHZilla. Oh, here you go. Here's $100 million. I love everything about it, listeners. But, we can't top that. So let's keep rolling instead. Maybe Uncle Mike can top it. It is time for the strategy block.
It's time to dispense options, wit, wisdom, and education. It's time for the strategy block.
Oh, it looks like some of our chat is going to sell the covered calls at ETHZilla. 2 halves. Oh yeah, that's just good stuff in ETHZilla. I defy you to find a better ticker than that. Wolf Speed might still be my ultimate favorite because it's just complete nonsense. But ETHZilla, in the category of nonsensical tickers, is right behind it. But that said, no one is behind Uncle Mike when we're talking option strategery. So Uncle Mike, I bought you some time. A, did you have time to change your name to the Uncle Mike ETHZillas? And then B, what's catching your eye out there, sir?
I didn't know I had the power to do that. Oh, wow.
You have full access to your team, sir. Go crazy.
I didn't know. I thought the league commissioner did some type of stop on me doing that.
I could always come in and change it at my whim, but you can do it.
Oh, all right. I'll have to start thinking about that one. Anyway, so let's say you're selling some covered calls in ETHZilla, or maybe just the stock in general. Let's use for this example. One of the benefits of a covered call is that, let's say you sell a covered call and the stock is slightly below your short strike price, and the covered call expires worthless. Okay, well, you made some money on that. Maybe made a little bit of a gain on the stock. You're in a good spot. But let's say that the stock starts going down. And the stock goes down. You watch the stock go down because you do like the stock still. If you like it at 50, you love it at 40, let's say. And as the stock's going down, it goes from 50 to 48. And your 55 call expires worthless, but you're not quite getting as much juice. So maybe the next month you go with a 50 call. Stock goes down a little bit more to like the 46.50 level. So maybe you sell a 48 call the following month. And you keep doing this on the way down. And that's fine. But what I want to bring up right here is, let's say the stock goes down to 45. And net on your trading, you're break even because you've just been selling covered calls all the way down. You've taken in enough income to where you're doing fine from a trading standpoint. You're in the 45 call, you sell it for $1, you get called away. Now you get assigned on it, let's say. So you're called away. And when that happens, you look at all the covered calls that you sold and all the stock, and the premium that you took in from all of the covered calls that you sold actually is greater than the loss you took on the stock. Okay, that's great. And if you're doing this within an IRA, even better. What I want to talk about today is if you're not doing this within an IRA, if you're doing it outside of an IRA. One thing that you have to be aware of is that even if you get called away on this stock, if you at that point in time, you're able to claim that $5 loss. Let's say you bought at 50, you sold it at 45 at a loss because you got called away on it, but you have all this covered call premium. You're able to claim that as a loss, whether it's short term or long term. It depends on how long all this actually happens and how long you were doing covered calls, and a variety of things is in a strategy block for another day. But either way, you can claim it as a loss. However, if after you get called away, you decide that you want to sell a 45 put, or you want to buy the stock back and sell a 45 call, or any call for that matter, one thing that you have to be aware of is something called a wash sale. If you get back into that stock within 30 days of the time you get called away, then your stock is what's known as a wash sale, meaning that you're not able to claim a loss on that stock. It's something you need to be aware of. Now, in our triple income portfolio, we do take wash sales at times, just so people, and we tell people about that from the get-go. It might happen, but we do try and remedy it in a few ways, to where if a stock is lower in value, maybe we will sell a call spread. So that way, if the stock shoots right back up, then we can just take a loss on the call spread and we're active with it. maybe we want to get out of a short call before expiration to avoid that. If it's a borderline or something like that, to where we may get called away, we may not. We'll just close the call out for something along those lines. We'll try and remedy it with certain things like that. But just have an understanding that when you give your 1099 to your accountant at the end of the year, he might ask you about why are you having all these wash sales, and that might be the reason. If you don't want a wash sale at all, the safest thing would be to find another stock for 30 days or something similar, and then go back to the stock you wanted. There are plenty of ways around it. With that being said, I will give it back to the ETHZilla King himself, Mr. Mark Longo.
I have to admit, our chat is leading me down a dark path. I was looking at ETHZilla as you were talking, the options chains out there. There's some fun stuff to be done as we keep on rolling and go around the block.
It's time to tell you what we'll be watching on our trading screens until the next episode. It's time for Around the Block.
Welcome to Around the Block. Yeah, as our chat said, 2-half straddle expiring in about a week. 45, 50 cents. Anybody in ETHZilla? Who's down? Who's down for a little fun? Out there, listeners. Sold to you, obviously. You don't buy that bad boy. Maybe you do. Maybe you're a wild person. You like to roll them bones. Speaking of rolling them bones, listen, let's see what's rolling as we come into the end of the show here. Looks like we're mostly hanging out similar to where we were at the start of the show. Just a little bit of a change of degree. NASDAQ's up about 0.5%. Dow moving in the other direction off 0.15%. And the S&P up about 0.1%. And VIX cash still kind of glued to that 15-quarter level that was hanging out near the start of the show. That said, Mr. Rock Lobster, first off, how many ETHZilla pretty much maybe a week and a half, almost, 2-week straddle pretty much are you selling for nearly 50 cents? And then what else is catching your eye out there in the markets, sir?
I find that straddle interesting for even the SEP straddle is, you're saying the two, for 50 cents. Odd. I'm just going to say odd. What's with all the pump in the crypto space? Are they waiting for new Trump announcements? So I find that odd.
A little bit of juice to squeeze there? A little bit of juice?
It does look a little juicy. I probably will avoid it. I've avoided the crypto till now. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I've avoided it up until now. But keep an eye. We got a PPI and a CPI number coming out this week. That will give us some idea. The market's moved 1 to 2% over 1 to 2 day periods on any whiff of inflation or not inflation. So I think those will be the movers, but we won't see those till Wednesday, Thursday. In the meantime, I think we trade a little flat to south until then. And then we'll see what the interest rate gods opine for us, the inflation gods.
We shall see indeed. Uncle Mike, if I can pull him away from his buying ETHZilla with both hands and also changing the name of his team to the ETHZillas. Mr. Uncle Mike, what are you keeping an eye on till the next episode, sir?
I mean, we got to keep an eye on the SPX near the all-time highs with which we had on Friday, continuing to watch gold at the all-time highs, as well as silver with the 14-year highs. That, along with the fact that I think it's ironic that all those things I just mentioned, bonds will be the driver of how those things move at this point in time. Sometimes one thing moves the other, and I think bonds will be how they move it, all based upon what happens with rates and inflation over the course of the next 7 or 8 months. So watching those in the near term, and of course, watching any social media posts that may come out by our president.
That's an ongoing game out there, listeners. Unfortunately, that music means no more game, at least not on this show for today. But don't worry. If you need more options goodness in your life, I'll be back in a little bit with our good buddy, Mr. Greg from Amber Data. Maybe we'll talk some ETHZilla. I definitely have to lure him to the dark side of ETHZilla and see what he says. He's been known to sell a little vol or two and buy some in various crypto assets. Maybe ETHZilla is to his taste. I know he loves himself a little MSTU, and that's not a product for degenerates. I don't know what is. So stay tuned for that fun. And then, of course, we wrap it all up with the madness that is Thor Odinson, coming up right after the closing bell. But before we do that, let's go around the horn. Let's go to the rockingest of lobsters first. Mr. Rock Lobster, sir, where should folks go if they want more rock lobster goodness? Oh, no, he is muted. So I will do his plug for him. Go to optionpit.com.
Pit.com. Oh, my God. Sorry.
1 point penalty.
Whole show he went.
That's the point already.
Whole show he went, and he mutes himself.
Optionpit.com. I went the whole thing without screwing up. But anyway, it happened.
There you go. Check it out. Optionpit.com. Look for their next event coming to Spokane soon. Optionpit.com. To
Queen
get
of the
your
Pacific.
Seats. Queen of the Pacific. We all learned something today. ETHZilla, Queen of the Pacific. We learned many things. Spokane, not on the coast. You came away with a lot of learning today, listeners. Mr. Uncle Mike, where should folks go if they want to continue the learning tree, sir?
No! Go to stcharleswealth.com if you're looking for a financial advisor who is not fearful but embracing of the option product, should it be appropriate for the investor. stcharleswealth.com.
There you go. St. Charles Wealth, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires. That's going to do it for us. Again, back again in a little bit. If you're hanging out in the pro chat, I see a lot of you debating all sorts of fun strategies. You want to check that out for yourselves. TheOptionsInsider.com/pro. Again, back again in a little bit for the crypto rundown. Then back for Thor Odinson. Then back with our usual array of weekly content until we're back again on Thursday. Flowmaster in hand. Another episode of the Option Block. Stay safe out there, everybody.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.